I know many of you will be watching the debate tonight because you care so deeply about this country and have nothing better to do. You're asking yourself important questions like, what will the rules of the debate be? If I down a shot of whiskey every time someone says something stupid, will ambulance service be available? And if I put Monday Night Football's Saints-Falcons game in the picture-in-picture, will my girlfriend realize how shallow I am and ditch me for some serious guy who actually gives a damn? So today, as a public service, the Daily Wire presents this list of debate rules as officially established by the Commission for Presidential Debates in conjunction with the producers of Storage Wars and the guys who wrote the last episode of Lost. Rule 1. The audience of the debate shall be fairly divided between the two candidate supporters. One half of the front row seats shall be reserved for billionaire businessmen who are giving millions to Hillary Clinton because they know she can't be bought by billionaire businessmen, but will be totally fair to the poor, which is what they totally care about. Totally. The other half of the front row seats shall be reserved for women Bill Clinton has assaulted. Rule 2. The first opening statement of the debate shall be made by Hillary Clinton in a screechy, haranguing voice that will make you feel like you've been condemned to spend eternity in a small room with your ex-wife's mother. Criticizing this hellish sound will be considered sexist, as will putting your fingers in your ears and shouting the words to the song Skyfall in hopes of drowning Clinton out. Afterward, Donald Trump will make his opening statement, which shall consist of a series of random phrases that include the words America, strong and winners, all of which will be accompanied by weird little hand gestures that make you think of what Don Corleone would look like if he was having tea with the Queen of England. Maybe that last one is just me. Rule 3. Mrs. Clinton will score points according to how many lies she can string together in sequence before falling into a helpless coughing fit, then collapsing to the floor in a twitching heap while foaming at the mouth and shouting a series of nouns generally recognized as slang words for parts of the female anatomy. Candy Crowley will then rush on stage to explain that this is the sort of thing that women have to put up with every damn day, not to even mention men leaving their underwear on the floor and neglecting to replace the toilet paper when it runs out. Donald Trump will score points on how many vicious personal attacks he can unleash on obscure journalists who have said mean things about him at any time between 1982 and today. When the debate is concluded, the voters will then be free to decide who would make the better president, Drew Brees of the Saints or Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shaped, tipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray! It makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray! Oh, hooray, hurrah!
The greatest 30 seconds in the podcast universe, I think we can safely say. I think the 1 second where that nude girl turns into a girl with, cupcakes and all that, I think that may be it. That may top the podcast. All right, we're back after a just disastrous Klavanless weekend. People were killed in terrorist attacks. Murder rate is skyrocketing. Arnold Palmer died, and I have a terrible cold, which I think is maybe the worst. Arnold Palmer, that was really bad. I mean, the guy was getting up there, but fortunately, to calm the hearts of the nation, Barack Obama tweeted out this picture in tribute to Arnold Palmer. Look at this. He does this every time somebody dies. It's like a picture of Barack Obama hitting a golf ball while Arnold Palmer looks on with admiration. It's like Arnold Palmer died. This is a good time to think about me. I'm thinking about me. It's like if Abraham Lincoln came back to life, there'd be a picture of Barack Obama contemplating a picture of Abraham Lincoln. It's like, he puts himself at the center of everything. All right. So before I devolve into a bubbling pool of snot, which you won't be able to see because it's going to happen later in the show. So you've got to subscribe. This is just another reason to subscribe to the Daily Wire. You can watch on Facebook and YouTube for 15 minutes when I should be able to hold myself together, but then you are cast into the exterior darkness. Well, then I begin to slowly dissolve, and you have to come over to the Daily Wire, or you can download us on iTunes and SoundCloud, but you can only listen to the sound of my voice as it starts to bubble and you start as I disappear. But if you want to watch the whole show, you subscribe. You can watch the entire thing. If you subscribe now, I believe they're giving away, is this right? They're giving away free copies of my book, The Great Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ, which the reason I got a cold was I've been out there promoting it. So if you don't go out and buy it, you're essentially letting me, dissolve into a pool of snot in vain. I mean, it's like it's on you now, folks. It's like, so yeah, the great good thing a secular Jew comes to faith in Christ. I am being attacked by everybody now. I've been attacked by the alt-right. So the anti-Semites have been after me all this time. And now the Jews are after me because I converted from Judaism to Christianity. And now I'm getting some attacks from Christian people because of my reading of the Bible, which I'll get back. If I have time, I'll get back to that later. We will have our great cultural correspondent. We have launched a satellite to get our great cultural correspondent, Michael Knowles, to come on by remote from the writer's room 25 feet away. So once that satellite is in orbit, we should be able to hopefully, we should be able to bounce our signal off it. So I think there's some show on television tonight besides Monday Night Football. The debates are on. Hillary Clinton is about 2 points ahead in the national polls, which Nate Silver is saying he's saying she has a slight lead, that Hillary Clinton has a slight lead, but it's really, she can't count on it because there are all kinds of other factors. The trend is toward Trump, and there's just a lot of undecideds out there. So 2% in the polls doesn't mean that much. He says, Nate Silver, this is the pollster at 538, and I like him because the left liked him because he predicted Obama the whole time, and so he was reassuring to them. But now his reputation is on the line, so he can't reassure them at the cost of his reputation, so he's got to get it right. He says Clinton should be worried about the fact that Americans come to view the race as one between two equally terrible choices instead of Trump being uniquely unacceptable. So, funny thing about this, all right? On the weekend, here is a story written on CNN by their left-wing guy, Brian Stelter, okay? On the weekend leading up to 2016's first presidential debate, 4 news organizations came to a similar and sweeping conclusion. Donald Trump lies more often than Hillary Clinton. In a normal election year, this would be extraordinary. On Sunday, editors and reporters at the newsrooms used another word, necessary. The New York Times story, A Week of Whoppers, came out first on Saturday. Then Politico, The Washington Post, and the Los Angeles Times all followed within hours. Several of the editors who were involved said the timing was a coincidence, but there was clearly a desire to publish stories before Monday's debate when Trump and Clinton's truthfulness will surely be at issue. Never in modern presidential politics has a major candidate made false statements as routinely as Trump has. These are people talking about a race in which I just want to remind you, this is a race in which Hillary Clinton exists. Okay, this is not just a race okay, the LA Times declared that. And Politico magazine's team analyzed every statement made by both Trump and Clinton for 5 days and said the conclusion is inescapable. Trump's mishandling of facts and propensity for exaggeration so greatly exceed Clinton's as to make the comparison almost ludicrous. This must have been the 5 days during which Clinton was suffering from pneumonia and couldn't get out, okay? The words almost ludicrous ricocheted around Twitter. Politico found that Trump averaged one falsehood every 3 minutes and 15 seconds over nearly 5 hours of remarks. This goes on and on and on. However, says left-wing Brian Stelter of CNN, of the left-wing Los Angeles Times, New York Times, and Politico, he says, however, there's no indication that the Clinton campaign was involved. Marty Barron, the executive editor of the also left-wing Washington Post, said the timing of the stories was a coincidence. We don't coordinate coverage with anyone else, he said. Okay, so our pals at hotair.com just happened to wander over to the Hillary Clinton website, and what to their wondering eyes should appear but the exact story, all the information that's in those 4 left-wing newspapers' websites, okay? So here's from Hot Air. Here's from the Clinton site being quoted by Hot Air. In a prebuttal to the first presidential debate, Hillary for America officials today released a damning list of Donald Trump's most discredited lies from the campaign so far and said that repeating these false claims would make it impossible for him to get a passing grade in Monday's critical test before the voters. According to PolitiFact, a whopping 70% of Trump's claims are untrue. The left-wing website, PolitiFact. Okay, so this is an amazing thing. It's like obviously Hillary Clinton and her left-wing cronies in the press have gotten together. Look, I'm not calling Donald Trump a fountain of truthiness or anything like it. That has nothing to do with it. But Hillary Clinton has not opened her mouth without lying since I think it was 1968, right? There's a moment they caught her on tape. She said, oh, my shoe is caught in a grate. And that was true. I think that got only one Pinocchio because she wasn't actually caught in a grate. She was caught in a... But ever since then, everything she says has been a lie. So what they're doing is they're playing the press. They're pressuring the press to make sure that the moderator of this debate, while the debate is going on, is pulling a Candy Crowley and correcting anything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. So here's Robbie Mook, Clinton's campaign manager, talking to George Stephanopoulos, pitching, that the press should skew the debate.
What we're concerned about is that there might be some sort of double standard here. Donald Trump can't lie on that debate stage and win or even get a passing grade. Donald Trump cannot demonstrate that he doesn't have a command of the issues and get a passing grade. So all that we're asking is that Donald Trump show that he is ready to be president of the United States.
You guys have been pushing that pretty hard, this idea of a double standard, and saying it's up to the moderator to point out falsehoods. But the debate commission has been pretty clear that they think it's the job of the moderator basically the way, just ask the questions.
Well, all that we're asking is that if Donald Trump lies, that it's pointed out. It's unfair to ask for Hillary both to play traffic cop with Trump, make sure that his lies are corrected, and also to present her vision for what she wants to do for the American people.
But isn't that what a debater is supposed to do?
Well, I think Donald Trump's special. We haven't seen anything like this. We normally go into a debate with two candidates who have a depth of experience, who have rolled out clear, concrete plans, and who don't lie, frankly, as frequently as Donald Trump does. So we're saying this is a special circumstance, a special debate, and Hillary should be given some time to actually talk about what she wants to do to make a difference in people's lives. She shouldn't have to spend the whole debate correcting the record.
So let's get this straight. First of all, there's George Stephanopoulos, right, former Clinton operative, so another left. Even he is saying, whoa, whoa. So let's get this right. The way Robbie Mook pictures this debate is Hillary Clinton gets to put forward her positive, proposals for America, how she's going to make America different and great by doing the same thing that's been done for the last 8 years to get us in the mess we're in, that she's running against. She's running against that mess, but she's going to do the same things, and it's all going to get better. She's going to get to do that while Donald Trump dodges bullets from the moderator who's asking him about his, the truthfulness of his statements. This is an amazing thing. Now, even Janet Brown, look, the Presidential Debate Commission picks these moderators. They're all left-wingers except maybe Chris Wallace, who's pretty fair. He's on Fox. He's one of the more left-wing people on Fox, but still, he's pretty fair. Even she, Janet Brown, the head of this commission, comes on and being questioned by this left-wing Brian Stelter on left-wing CNN, she says this.
What about the issue of fact-checking that's been talked about so much in the past few weeks? Does the commission want Lester Holt to fact-check?
The commission asks independent, smart journalists to be the moderators, and we let them decide how they're going to do this. But I have to say, in our history, the moderators have found it appropriate to let the candidates be the ones that talk about the accuracy or the fairness of what the other candidate or candidates might have said. I think personally, if you start getting into fact-checking, I'm not sure what is a big fact, what's a little fact. And if you and I have different sources of information, does your source about the unemployment rate agree with my source? I don't think it's a good idea to get the moderator into essentially serving as the Encyclopedia Britannica. And I think it's better for that person to facilitate and to depend on the candidates to basically correct each other as they see fit.
Now, I just want to make it clear that everybody in the press and in the mainstream press is on Clinton's side. They may not like her, they may not trust her, they may not believe her, but they want her to win. And the fact that Trump is as close as he is a rebuke to them. It's a rebuke to this fantasy world they've been selling us. Listen to this. Actually, I'm going to go into this really interesting collection of quotes from Newsbusters. But first, we have to say goodbye to our friends at Facebook and YouTube. So come on over to the Daily Wire and hear what comes next. And we'll have Michael Knowles, our cultural correspondent, from the writers' room.